Hey guys, what's going on? This is Sam from Glow San Diego, and I'm here with SG Lewis, also named Sam.
Great taste from your parents.
Are we trying to go back to back on like a Sam B2B at Cross Festival?
It's marketable, you know. It's got a ring to it, so we should get an agent, you know, see how it goes.
Okay, cool. We'll produce some stuff later.
Okay, great.
But on a different note, last time I talked to you was at Coachella.
That's right.
Since then, you've released the Donna P.
That's
right. And you've been traveling a lot.
Yes, I've kind of not really stopped, but yeah, it's been amazing. It's kind of great to bring that trilogy to kind of a close and to realize that concept, because I think that, you know, when I announced the concept, I didn't really have any of the music. It was just kind of like, it was a way of making sure that I then had like a timeline to work to, because if I hadn't told anyone about it, I could work on it for 5 years and be like, it's not perfect. But it's now, in retrospect, it's great to look back at the project and be like, oh, cool, I'm super proud of like how that turned out. But I've just been deep in album mode as well now. So just like writing for the album, and I feel like I've got the majority of it by now.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you know, the dusk dawn and that whole concept, like dark, and you have the live production to go with it. And I've heard from multiple people that your new live show is something to definitely see. Oh, it's complete rubbish.
Trash.
So it's amazing.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
And I want you to talk about like the concept of like your new live production and your new live show.
Yeah, so basically we play all the music as a 5-piece band, really. So there's 2 singers, Tom and Auri, who cover the feature vocals, and they do an amazing job. They're incredible musicians in their own right. And then there's Nick and Max, who Nick plays drums, so it's kind of like a hybrid setup where he has like a combination of acoustic drums and then electronic triggers. And then Max kind of fills in the gaps that I'm not doing in terms of if I'm not, you know, playing a certain part, or a lot of the songs that I'm now singing on. So between the 5 of us...
and so what songs are you singing on?
So the singing thing is interesting, because I've never really like made a point of like when I do sing on things, but I sing on Coming Up, I sing on Blue, I sing on Easy Loving You, and a couple of others. And then the album that I'm working on at the moment, the kind of biggest development, I guess, from Dust Till Dawn is that at the moment I'm singing on like over 3/4 of it. So yeah, that's been an interesting challenge, let's say.
Yeah, right, definitely. Yeah. And so atmospheric, to say the least. Like a lot of your music kind of has this ambiguous and ambient noise feel to it.
That's cool.
Yeah. And what do you think that your listeners are doing when they're listening to your song, or what do you want them to be doing?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, actually. I mean, you know, I'm really fascinated by like the purpose of music, so I do often think about it, like, you know, what is the purpose of a song? Like, is someone listening to it because they're like sad, or are they listening to it because it's Sunday morning and they're cooking? But I think that a lot of my music tends to resonate with those kind of quieter moments, kind of like there's a certain like intimacy to a lot of the records.
And then you've got the accent to go with it. You're like, intimacy.
So yeah, it's kind of like I think a lot of people enjoy my music in those kind of quieter moments, but I think more recently, you know, and with Dark and with the album I'm working on, there's also like I've been inspired by some more like up-tempo, like 80s New York and like disco music and stuff. So really it's different songs for different purposes, but I'd like to imagine that people are kind of connecting with it in those quieter moments. So
yeah. And you're doing your United States tour.
Yes.
I saw that you are most excited about trying a Popeyes chicken sandwich. Low key, that's the most American thing you could probably be doing.
Right.
So what other American things do you plan to do while you're touring here?
Everyone got so mad at me on Twitter because I called it a chicken burger, because that's what we call a chicken sandwich in England. And they were like, it's not a burger, it's a sandwich. And I was like, it's not a sandwich.
Did you try the Popeyes chicken sandwich?
I haven't found one yet.
Or
it's been sold out. Like every time I've tried to find it, they've been like, no, we don't have it. And
that's so disappointing.
I don't really understand this whole like supply and demand of a chicken sandwich. Like there are so many chickens on the planet. There's like billions and billions more chickens than humans. Anyway.
Billions of chickens on the planet, and this one chicken in particular. But you were excited to try it, nonetheless.
And you have American things. I've kind of developed an obsession with like going to vintage shops and getting the like Harley Davidson t-shirt. Like, this is a very American t-shirt. It's got a bald eagle on the back.
So, that's super America.
America. I feel like I'm definitely, the more time I spend here, I feel like I'm just embracing my inner American.
Yeah, and so you're playing Crossed, obviously. Your fans have talked about crying at your sets. I've seen multiple people say, I cried during SD Lewis's set, and so I hope that you make me cry.
I mean,
really do.
Honestly, the crazy thing is, it's like the biggest compliment. I think that like the ultimate goal is to have someone like dancing like hard but crying at the same time. It's like if those things
crying like tears of joy.
Exactly,
crying.
It's like euphoria, but then also like there's maybe some sadness in there. That's weird. I'm like, I hope that they cry out of sadness, but you know, that kind of marriage of like euphoria and emotion, like that's really the ultimate goal with what I'm trying to do musically. It's like if I see someone dancing and crying, I'm like, amazing. Like, that's my job done.
Speaking of being sad, Dawn is a sad song.
Yeah.
Dawn is sad.
Yeah. I mean, like...
Did you write that?
Yeah. I mean, so...
What kind of mental state were you in when you wrote that? Because that is it is so beautifully composed, but it's sad.
So the crazy thing about that song is it kind of appeared from like... me, Camille, and 2 Inch Punch were in the studio, and we kind of been working all day, and like nothing had really come, and it was like we had like half an hour left in the day, and Camille started playing these 3 chords, and then I just started like singing, and this melody just came out, and then the words kind of came out nowhere, and before I knew it, there was this song, and then it was one of the ones that in retrospect you listen back to and you're like, oh, I know exactly what that's about, but there was no conscious thought of like, I'm gonna write a song about like my breakup, but like you go back to it and you're like, oh, like yeah, that's what it's about, and that's who it's about. So that song's really crazy because it's just it's super personal, and I think that like every time I play it, I have to kind of shut my eyes and like shut the room out when I sing it live, because it's just like it's almost just it's hard to kind of like to open up to other people with that song.
Well, can you elaborate a little bit more, or would you like to share?
I think I like to keep the like real meanings just a little bit open so that people can have their own interpretation, but like
so they can connect with it on their own, with their own story.
It's a reflection on like a relationship, and not, instead of feeling like angry or just kind of like disappointed, it's kind of just like looking back at it and being like, it's done, but it was a beautiful thing, and I'm thankful for it, I think.
Yeah, and I've seen pictures of you performing. You look so happy. I mean, the smile that you have on right now is the smile I've seen in every photo, and that's pure bliss. Do you prefer to be touring most of the year?
So I think we have a really good balance. I think that with the album there'll be like probably a lot more, and like I love touring. You know, I have I'm fortunate to have like an amazing group of people on tour with me. We really like do support each other, and you know, it doesn't feel like work, and you're right, like I display everything I'm thinking on my face. Like I'm a very kind of like heart on sleeve person, so like when I'm on stage, if I'm not having a good time, then I'm staring at the floor and I'm like, you know, just like hoping it ends as soon as possible. But like most of the time, that the smiles that I have on stage are just like a reflection of the energy that I'm getting from the crowd, and it's a genuine just like almost disbelief. It's kind of funny sometimes especially when you start playing a song before it's released, and everyone's kind of like, oh, what's this? And then you play it 6 months later when people have like digested and connected with it, and you hear them singing it back, and you're like, oh my god, like
people are resonating with my music. They know the words.
It's crazy. It's even like so.
I love Throwaway. Throwaway is the one I connect with the most.
Throwaway is there's something really special about that song, and it's I love Throwaway. I'm super proud of it, and Claire is she's a freak talent. She's a really good friend of mine, and she's doing so well right now. I'm so proud of her. But Throwaway happened in like half an hour. It was just like,
I hear that so frequently with really good songs that I like, and somebody will go, I was just with somebody else and we were vibing, and this song came to be within an hour.
Yeah, it's like,
and you hear that and you're like, what?
If you have to force it, then it's probably not right, you know? And like, unfortunately, the thing about music is that like the best things happen quickly, but you have to put in so much time to be in the room to capture it when that happens, you know? It's like the best songs happen in half an hour, but you have to be in the studio for months to capture that sometimes, or you know, weeks or days or whatever. But you know, you have to be in the game to capture that moment, I guess. But that was really like a really amazing process, because we just it was like a night session. I think we were both super tired, and we met in LA, or we met up, and we were just kind of like talking. We had like a bit of a like therapy session where we were just like opening up and just like helping each other with some stuff.
I think that's what music truly is, and it's just a therapy session. So for artists, you're like, let's just get it out.
It's great.
And you write a lot on the plane.
Yeah.
You get a lot of your lyrical inspiration on planes.
So strange. Like, for some reason, I think it's just being like separated from everything, and just like there's not many situations in like modern society where you're just somewhere alone with your thoughts, not talking to anyone for like hours on end. And I think that's why it's such a creative space, is that you have time to reflect on things, and you don't have Wi-Fi, so you're not just like scrolling Instagram constantly or whatever. So, like, so often
I'm wondering what your screen time is now that you say that.
It's horrible. Like, I don't even want to. Like, sometimes you get that
like 12 hours out of your day.
Sometimes on tour, you'll just be like scrolling. So, you know, you'll be in airports and stuff, which is just like, you can't really do anything productive in an airport. But like, I went on holiday for the first time in like ages last week, and I just like put my phone in my room, and like that was when I realized I was like, okay, I'm definitely addicted to my phone. I think we all are. But I'm making a conscious effort to try and be better now.
It's your one thing.
Yeah, I'm terrible. Like, it's disgusting. Like, sometimes I'm just like, what are you doing? Like,
I have to say, so I looked this up. I'm looking it up right now. Oh, I laughed when I read this. So you called your 2020 music, it's going to be 80s tearjerker dance floor slappers for Sad Boy 2020. I was like, just describe the music you're making now, because...
So, yeah, I mean, like, that marriage we were talking about of like euphoria and energy, that's kind of the goal with the album at the moment. It's like, you know, and not every song is going to have the same emotion. You know, there's going to be songs that are just straight up like energy, and there's going to be songs that are straight up, you know, emotion. So it's kind of but I've just been experimenting. I think there's a lot of 80s music and some there's disco records that are like arguably happy lyrically, but like they have a certain melancholy to them, and that's where like there's a real magic pocket of euphoria and some like disco records that like just make you want to like cry and take your clothes off at the same time. So, it's a strange combination.
That is the weirdest combination ever. But
I feel like that might not make a lot of sense, but hopefully it will.
You know what? It kind of does in a weird way, because I'm notorious for this. Like, and my roommates all know this. If I get drunk, like I get home and there's like a trail of clothes from the door to my room, and then usually it'll be like just me on top of like sheets. Like they'll know, like they'll know that I had been drinking that night, because it'll literally be like shoes. Oh, there's the pants, and then like it's just a trail. So
there's just music left on, like I don't know.
There's just sad music playing.
Just like sad 80s ballads, or just like.
Oh yeah, so you're playing on Ocean View stage today.
That's right.
What time? What time is it?
4:45.
4:45.
There we go. I should know these things, and my organizational skills are like.
You're like, I don't know what time, but I'll be there.
Honestly,
and I'll be ready.
just go where I'm told.
And
like, I've got the next hour figured out, and that's usually about it.
I love that. That's a quote to live by. And you're also doing Crossed After Dark.
Yes, so doing an after party with Touch Sensitive, who's a friend of mine. Who's amazing. I love his music so much. And so going to be doing live set for Ocean View, and then DJ set later on.
Oh, nice. Okay, so two spectrums there.
Yeah, so really showing off.
So if you